Hi everybody, it's Janet with Fruit of the Vine Art Studio here. Thank you so much for joining me here tonight. Let me just pull it up here on the computer. There we go. That way when you pop on, I'd really love it if you'd just say hi, tell me where you're watching from. I really appreciate hearing from you. At least that way I know I'm on the right page and that you do hear me out there. Tonight we're going to do a little Charley Harper card. Hey, let me show you. I wanted to talk to you also about our kids club. We started yesterday. It was our grand opening. We had such a good time. We had a pineapple party, and we celebrated Mardi Gras, and we made cute little Mardi Gras masks with paper plates, and that's just the beginning of the fun. We've got a lot more planned. We're going to do some Frida Kahlo self-portraits next week, and the week after that, we are going to have a lucky leprechaun painting that the kids can do. So it's going to be a whole lot of fun coming up for the kids in the club. Anyway, tonight we are going to do a Charley Harper painting on a card. Or actually not a painting. I am going to use my oil pastels. Is actually what I'm going to do. I'm going to use the oil pastels. Hi, Steve. Thank you for commenting. I appreciate that. I see that there. I appreciate that very much. Thank you. Now, maybe you guys notice these things that says stars. Hey, that's something new and something different for me. Facebook is offering me stars now, so that's just another way that you can support me. And it's wonderful. I mean, it's a very easy thing. All you do is you just like put $1 and that gives me these stars, and it can buy me some coffee or a slice of pizza or something, you know. I mean, it's not big money or anything like that, but it is just another opportunity, something fun, something different, and a way to just show support. I appreciate any support I get, you know that. Anything you guys do, anytime you show up, any comments that I get, I love you guys, and I really appreciate you being here. Okay, I'm just taping this down. I'm using my painter's tape, just regular 3M, well actually, yes, Scotch 3M painter's tape, and I'm just putting it down. I've got a piece of watercolor 144 paper that I folded in half. Let me tilt you down so that you actually see what I'm doing instead of seeing me. Here, let's get this down there and try to get you past some of the junk that's piled up around me here. There, that looks like that'll probably get it for you pretty good right there. And you move this. Okay. Now I'm just pulling the tape. Now what I'm going to be doing, I've already got it folded in half. I've actually even put a piece of press and seal on the inside just to protect it in case anything was to go through my piece of watercolor paper. And I'm just using Canson's watercolor 144 paper. Now, you can use any kind of mixed media paper, cardstock, anything like that. That would work too. I'm just using this because that's what I've got here. And I'm just putting a border of tape around the outside of the card because I am going to use, once again, I thought it's been a while since we've made a pretty card. Let me see if I can tilt you down just a little bit more so it's not so far at the bottom of the screen. There. Now it's more up towards the middle of the screen instead of at the bottom. Because, yeah, if you put that and post it in any kind of words or any kind of music or anything at the bottom, you'd never be able to see it at all. So, push you up a little bit. Anyway, put the tape down. I am going to be using my Pentel oil pastels, and I'm going to use some baby oil, and I'm going to use some cotton swabs. Just plain cotton swabs. Something simple. I've already got my design on here. And I don't know if you can see it. You can kind of see it. I think you can kind of see it. It is a Charley Harper owl. I am making this card for my in-laws. It's their anniversary. And my mother-in-law loves owls. Oh, I can see a piece on here that I did not draw. But that's okay. I can do that with my pen. Or I can do that with my... Where's a pencil here? I'm not going to worry about it. We're just going to move ahead and just do what we were planning on doing. We are going to be using... Let me see, where's the word on here? Van Dyke Brown for the background of the owl. And we are going to be using Where is that yellow? Chrome yellow for the owl's eyes. And then we'll be using ochre yellow. Those are the three colors that I am going to be using. Oh, wait a minute. I'm going to need another one. Let me see. Where's that? I guess that would be about... that's darker than that color, isn't it? Let's try this color for that. Maybe this one. Pale brown. We'll be using a pale brown, too. So, actually, I think I'm going to start coloring with using the darker colors. I need a black also, because there's a black on here. So we're just going to color like we're using regular crayons, right? Very simple. So I'm just going to start off. I'm going to start off with this yellow, because the yellow is going to be right here, and then I have to put black next to it. Same with like when I go to use the Q-tip, I'm going to start with the lightest color first to blend it. Just knock those little crummies off. Take my fingernail and just scratch that out of the way there. Okay, now these other rings, there's going to be a dark, so I'm going to make these rings right here. Nope, we're going to need this other color. I can hear Coco out in the backyard. I am using the ochre. I'm going to make a ring of ochre. It goes all the way around the outside of his eyes. Just filling this in. That's a dark brown there. Okay, so let's see. The ochre is also going to go a line right here, and a line right here, and a line right there. I want to get these lines placed first. That goes straight up his side here. One over here, and I'm holding this right on the very edge so that I can get a very fine line. As you can see, they are very flat tipped. And then he's got these lines that go across his chest. And then I'm going to fill that in with brown behind it. And I know I'm thinking, why am I coloring these in first? Because I want to make sure that these show up. And it doesn't have to be exactly perfect. It's just Charley Harper style. It's not a reproduction of the Charley Harper owl. It's got a little bit of a leeway in between here and between these lines. Okay, and then we're going to use this right here to go in this area, this light brown, which is almost like a beige. Now there's two different ways you can do this. You can do this the regular way. You could just take a piece of paper and begin to blend. And just blend it together until it looks like it's a smooth oil. Or you can do the baby oil method, which is what I'm going to do. Down here, I wanted to mention the Charley Harper drawings. When you look at the Charley Harper drawings, you can see that it's really just shapes put together. Like down here where the feet are, where I'm doing this, it's like a half of a pineapple slice for the feet. That's what he gets for feet. Just goes up like this, like a little smile, actually. Okay, so now we've got that right there. And I'm going to take the black, because this has, that I did not draw, and it goes all the way down. One right here. He's got little pointed talons coming out at the bottom. And I neglected to put those on there, so we need those on there. We're going to add them. And then this line also goes across right here in black. It's just a line. Now these are going to all kind of get blended together, so we're not going to get too caught up in it being just perfect right there. I'm going to fill this in the eye. Fill this in on this side of the eye. Oh, I know what I forgot to do. I see it. Let's see. One right here. And a couple of lines next to it. So there, now he's got some lines at the top too. Okay. And then we've got, oop, I don't want to forget his beak. He's got a beak right here. Here, let me kind of edge that up just a little bit. His beak comes up just like this and around at the top. Okay, and now I'm going to use this dark brown here, this Van Dyke brown. And I'm just going to put it right back in here. I'm going to put it in between. And I don't have to take it all the way and fill it all the way in, because once I start using the Q-tip, that'll help blend the colors together. Fill in the areas and the white looking spots. Now, for those that don't know, Charley Harper was an American Cincinnati-based artist. He lived in Cincinnati most of his life. He wasn't born in Cincinnati, but he lived in Cincinnati most of his life. His career was founded here, and he was known for all of his colorful, stylized wildlife paintings and prints. You can still find a whole lot of his art in many books, and you can find them in print. You can find them all over the place, really. Charley Harper is a very famous artist, and if you don't know about him, then go to the library and get a book and check it out. You'll be surprised at the amount of stuff that Charley Harper has. Actually, you don't even have to go to the library. You know what? Google it. Google it. Yes, Amy. You bought some oil pastels? Hey, I see that they're working on a lion in art class with my students, and you wanted to try it at home. Now, I'll tell you, I'm going to show you with the baby oil. You do not want to saturate it. You want to use just a very light amount. You're going to take it, I take it, and put just a, well, I'll show you here in just a second. I put just the smallest amount in the lid of my baby oil. And then I take the Q-tip, put it in there, and I roll it around until I roll almost all of the oil back off of it, and then it'll blend real easily. I love using these things. It just reminds me so much of being like a little kid and playing with crayons. I always loved playing with crayons. One of those kids that would sit down and color, even when we would go like to my sister-in-law's house and my niece would have her crayons out. I'd be sitting down to color. I was one of those kids, one of those people. I always liked to color, still like to color. I'm always going to be that person that likes to color. Have adult coloring books and like to do mandalas and stuff like that. Those are a lot of fun. I find those to be really, really interesting. want to learn how to do a lot more of the dot artwork. I think that's very pretty. Watch those, some of those ladies that do some of those mandalas, and it is just unbelievable. I'm just going to take this now and kind of just fill it in here. You can kind of see I did like a little pattern down the middle so that he's got all four of his columns here, so to speak. He's sort of like done in columns if you look at how he's made. He's sort of like rows and columns, rows and columns. No, I don't want to get too much dark brown in there or we're going to end up losing our light color there. Okay, let me put a little bit right in here and then right down here underneath his feet a little bit. And then it goes across. Right there, he's on a branch. You can kind of see my pencil line there. Okay, so now we've got him basically all colored in. Well, he is supposed to have some brown lines. Let me see if I can push this up this way. Well, maybe not. Maybe I can just kind of pull a brown line in there in between the oranges. Now, I don't know if that'll blend or not. We'll see what happens when I try that. Don't need it to be too much detail. It is going to be an oil pastel. There we go. That looks pretty good to me. We're going to get all the extra off there. Okay. Now I'm going to get my baby oil. And of course, first thing I did was tilted it and it shot out all over my hand. So, ha! There goes that. And wipe that off. I do love the smell of it. You still color at restaurants? Hey, I'm telling you, if I had kids with me and they brought the colors, believe you me, I would be coloring all the time too. I would. I look for those things. I like that. Okay, so I'm going to take it, and I'm just going to dip it in there, and then I'm going to take it, and I'm going to roll it on the edge here until I get basically just about all the oil out of it. And then I'm going to start, like I said, with my lightest colors. Now, maybe I should take it and give it just a little squeeze here and try to pull it down just a little bit. And I'm going to work on the yellow. And you'll see that it just begins. I don't want to get too much into the black right there. See how it's blending that onto the tip right there. So I got to be careful with the black. Pull that up just like that. Now that was all of the yellow that I had, so I'm going to work on this ochre. Now you can see that it's not blending with the yellow, but it's blending a color next to the yellow. It's a lighter color than it looked when we first started. You do not want to get this saturated with the oil. You don't want it to be so thick on here that it's going through and getting onto your paper and making your paper bleed through on the inside. You're just getting enough oil on there. Pull that back over around here a little bit. You're just getting enough oil on there to get it to where it blends very, very easily. Okay, so now I'm going to take this. And I'm going to go to the next side over here and just get a little bit on here. And I'm going to work on this right here. And just watch how easily this blends. I don't have to rub hard at all. In fact, I'm barely rubbing it. And it just blends itself with the greatest of ease. Turn that over and work that off right there. Work around that black. Still got a little drop of it. As much as I tried to miss it. Okay, and then we'll bring this down here and work on these little feet. Oh, and I see a little spot that I missed. There should be a little line of brown that goes right up in between the feet. Just like that. There we go. Okay. Now I'm going to take this and I'm going to pick just a little bit of cotton off of it. Touch just a little bit more oil. Squeeze most of that off of there. And I'm going to work on these lines right here. See how easily that's coming out of there? Just rubbing it real simple. There's no pressure to it at all, basically. You're just rubbing on it. Okay, let's turn this over and work on this side. Probably should have started over here since I'm kind of left-handed, and that way I wouldn't be dragging it across the front of the artwork here. But you know me, I'm going to do it backwards. But it's still going to get done. Even if it is done backwards, it's still going to get done, guys. It's still going to get done. Okay, now see how that's blending so simple and so easy? Yeah, try it. Try it, Amy. Try it. It is so very, very simple. So very simple. It blends so simple. You don't have to rub hard at all. In fact, I think the harder you rub, it's going to blend it together. I mean, you really get some really cool blending. Do a sunset. Really cool. Do a sunset with it, with the oranges and the yellows and stuff. Turns out beautiful. Okay, I'm going to squeeze a little bit more of that off right there. And I'm going to twist it a little bit more because that's kind of wacky. Almost like I'm just drawing it again. Just actually like I'm coloring it, actually, is what it feels like. It feels like I'm just coloring with another crayon. Let's turn him over. And I guess the principle behind this working is oil, pastel, blend with the baby oil, the oil properties, the properties of the oil, they blend together. I don't know. I mean, I'm just assuming that that's how it works. I don't know the science behind it. Lord have mercy, I'll be the last one to pretend to know anything about the science behind it. The only science I know is what I learned on Big Bang Theory. Aha. Okay, now I'm just going to take it and work over the dark brown. Oh, got a little bit on the eye right there. Let me push that up. It's not going to hurt it any way I look at it. I'm not worried about that. We want it to blend. Maybe not directly on top of each other, but, you know, in some cases we do, but that's not the point with this one right here. But we do want a nice blended look to it. Very, very simple. Now he's getting a little rubbed down. I'm going to have to switch him out here. Let me see though, while he's still small, I'm going to pull it underneath the eye area and up and around the nose. Okay, maybe I should just go ahead and pluck off a little more. Just pull it off and put it to the side. Now, if you're using lots of different colors and you're blending like a sunset, I wouldn't recommend doing that over and over and over. But for this, it pretty well will work. Now, you don't get the crisp lines, obviously, but you still get the same detail. And you can see that it is a Charley Harper owl. Let's see, I'm going to change you off. Get me a clean, fresh one here. Squeeze it off a little bit. My computer's doing something funny over here. Like, I don't know. Am I glitching up, guys? I don't know. It seems like my computer's telling me something, and I keep missing it. I look up, and it'll be, like, glitchy looking. Hopefully I'm not glitching up. I'm hoping I'm not glitching up. Get just a little more. I keep dipping it in and then rubbing it off, and dipping it in and then rubbing it off. And I'm just going to go right down the side here. Right along the side of here. Now this is going to kind of blend together. I mean, it's a little hard to keep it from completely blending together, but you're still going to see the little yellow highlights in his chest area. I'm just touching up a couple little spots here and there. You can still see the white showing through. Okay, we're just about to get this little birdie done. I'm going to make a line that goes straight up the middle, right in between here. Right in between here. Working his tail a little bit down here in the bottom of his foot. Okay, and then, let's see, I need to do just a little bit of a drag right here on his branch. Okay, and the only thing left to blend at this point is the black. And for that, I'm going to start off by taking off most of the cotton. Just get a little touch. And you may not even need to do this, but I can just see little cracks of white through the black, so I'm just doing it because I want it to have that uniformed, rubbed look. All right. And there we have it, a Charley Harper style owl card. And that's all I'm going to do to him. I'm going to go ahead and take the tape off. Oh, it's trying to pull up my card. That's okay. We'll work on the edge of that. Sometimes you got to be careful about the painter's tape. You don't want to rub it down too hard. It'll pull up your card. But that's okay. I can take care of that. I can just rub that. This watercolor paper, you can take care of that. All right. There we have our card. And now I can open it up. I can take my press and seal off at the inside of it. This protects the card anytime that you're like painting on the front of the card, coloring on the front of your card, any kind of that stuff. You want to protect the inside of the card so that when you go to write on it, the last thing you want to do is open it up and there's a bunch of paint on the inside. And the best thing about this press and seal stuff is you can just fold it over and save it again for the next time. And it just sticks to itself. And I'll just put it over here with my other stuff and use that the next time around. Now it's ready to have happy anniversary written on the inside of it. Oops, there it fell. So there we go. What do you guys think of that? I think that blended pretty well, pretty easy. Very simple to make that drawing. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. All right, guys. Thanks for joining me tonight. Let me tilt you up just a little bit there. All right. Thanks for joining me. I'll see you again soon. Bye. Let me get that off of there. It's got